Whenever you use someone else's idea in your writing, you have to give them credit. In academic writing, we do this using an in-text citation, which is required whether you are quoting a source word for word or simply paraphrasing their concepts. This parenthetical citation acts as a visual pointer. It drops a subtle marker right in the middle of your sentence that directs the reader to the full publication details waiting at the end of your paper on the Works Cited page. Look at this split screen to see the two ways you can borrow from a source. You can use a direct quote, which captures the author's exact words inside quotation marks, or you can use a paraphrase, where you completely restate the author's idea using your own vocabulary and sentence structure. Notice the phrasing at the bottom. If you keep the original sentence structure and just swap out a few words with synonyms, you have not created a true paraphrase. A paraphrase requires complete original phrasing. This pie chart illustrates a common academic guideline known as a quoting quota. To ensure your own voice leads the paper, instructors often recommend keeping direct quotes to 15% or less of your total word count. The surrounding paragraphs show the difference. One is buried under quoted text, while the other uses short, targeted evidence to support original analysis. An academic essay must prioritize your own voice and your own analysis. Direct quotes should be reserved strictly for those rare moments when the original author's exact wording is impossible to improve upon. This text shows how minimalist MLA citations actually are. Notice the formatting inside the parentheses. You only need the author's last name and the page number. There is no extra punctuation holding them together. Look at these three incorrect examples. Students frequently make the mistake of adding a comma between the name and the number, inserting a period before the page number, or dropping the sentence's period inside the quotation marks. The correct version removes the clutter. Last name, page number, and the period closes the entire sentence at the very end. Following these specific punctuation rules ensures your citations remain consistent and unobtrusive throughout your essay. When you introduce a source for the very first time in your essay, you need to use a signal phrase that includes the author's full name and their credentials. Take a look at this sentence. By writing Laurel Walmsley, a reporter for NPR, you provide the author's credentials alongside their name. This tells your reader exactly who the source is and what professional perspective they bring to the topic. For every subsequent use of that exact same source, you drop the credentials and use only the author's last name to keep your writing moving efficiently. You now have two options for formatting the citation. You can save the author's name for the parentheses at the very end, or if you name the author in your signal phrase, you put only the page number in the parentheses. College-level writing heavily favors the signal phrase method. It weaves the source's authority smoothly into the flow of your own argument, rather than hiding the author's identity until the end of the sentence. Here is a flawed citation. See if you can spot the three formatting errors. We remove the comma. We drop the P before the number. Relocate the period from inside the quotation marks to the very end of the sentence to close the citation. A common trap is thinking you only need to cite a source if you use their exact words. In reality, every borrowed idea requires a citation. Watch how this direct quote fades into a paraphrase. Even though the quotation marks disappear, the citation requirement remains. Whether you pull exact words, a specific statistic, or a broader concept, you must claim the origin of that information. A proper citation credits the original idea itself. Even when you use your own words to describe a concept, you are still responsible for identifying where that concept came from. This infographic summarizes our core lessons. Keep direct quotes under 15% of your total word count, favoring paraphrases. Use minimalistic punctuation, no commas, no P, and put the period at the very end. Introduce sources fully the first time you use them. In Part 2, we move to the final page, exploring how to handle tricky edge cases, like citing sources without authors.